jammed on brakes and he nearly came flying over in front of us. How lucky is this, guys? And it does look like it is in fact Thamba, just from the brief glimpse that I've got. A beautiful young male leopard. Hello. Now I'd love you guys to help confirm, because I'm just guessing, but I'm still confident that that's who it is. He's in impeccable condition and we have hit the jackpot. Woohoo! Well done, Seb. Sorry about the crash. I was so excited when Seb spotted it. He almost went flying over the hood of the vehicle. Now, what's interesting about this young male leopard is that he seems to be camping out quite a lot on this north kind of western corner of Djuma. And it would be interesting to know how much time he's spending here without our knowledge of him actually being here. Fascinating stuff. Well, what an absolute bonus, and I am thoroughly looking forward to spending the rest of the afternoon with a beautiful young male leopard. He's flying below the radar at the moment. He's about 2 and a bit years old now. I'm not too sure exactly how old he is. We need to keep moving though. But he is a youngster and he'll be flying below the radar, and especially more so now that there's this kind of new male on the scene, plus Tingana trying to work things out. So lots of stuff going on. We're going to try and get ahead of him quickly and call you back as soon as we do and send you across to Steve, who's found some insects. Well, I hope some of you guys managed to, in fact, help Steve in identifying that insect. We've just got ourselves into, I'm hoping, a great spot where we can just stop and let this young leopard make his way towards us. Yeah, this is going to work well. He's just behind those bushes at kind of 11 o'clock, Seb, but he is going to pop out shortly. You'll even get him now. Yeah, just behind that tree there. He's going to pop out just where my finger is. Just stop for a second, and he's moving into a very thick and tricky area for us to negotiate through. You can just make out his face in the bushes there. Here he comes. Beautiful. And I just need to call in on the game drive radio quickly that I found him. I forgot about that, just to let the other guides know that we've got lucky. But as I've wanted to do that, they've started up a discussion, so it'll have to wait a few seconds. What has he seen up ahead here? He's moving with intent. He's definitely moving with quite a lot of intent. I wonder what it is. It was 2 tiny emerald-spotted wood doves that he could obviously hear making a noise on the ground. I mean, they are the smallest of little doves. And they fluttered off. A young male like this will be very opportunistic and will definitely cash in on any opportunities to feed on tiny animals, even small birds. Oh, he is a fine specimen, this leopard. He's got quite pale eyes, which help distinguish him from others. We've located Thamba. He crossed over Galago shortcuts, heading kind of towards the waterhole, but he's in Makuluhlatin now. Child of the universe, you'd like to know, I think, why have these young males not been chased away by the bigger dominant males? It's normal for all young male leopards to have a period of their life where they'll be trespassing, essentially, but they won't be misbehaving, or they'd be foolish to misbehave whilst they are trespassing. And basically, you know, as soon as they leave home, they can't just buy a house and get a wife and get married. They need to learn about things. So that's what he's currently doing, and it's the same with Hosanna. And it's usually only at around 5 years of age that they will start competing with other bigger male leopards. Go ahead, Tax. Sorry, guys, I just need to talk to Tax and one of the other guys who's wanting to come into the sighting. Yeah, it's tricky for now, Tax. He was between Gallagher shortcut, Waterhole, well, now he's mobile. He's continuing east. I think your best bet will be to head round to the Waterhole and stand by there. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. It's just very, very important that we sometimes put you in the back seats and other guides in the front seats so that they hopefully do the same for us when we need to get into sightings. I'm just worried about how on earth we are going to stay with him through this vegetation. It would almost be useful to just follow him on foot from a safe distance and call in the vehicles round on the other side. James and I once did that with Mvula one day during TV shows. We spent a whole day sneaking around, following him, so that he was ready for the TV show, and we handed him over to one of the old presenters, and 2 minutes before the TV show, they lost him after a long day of James and I keeping an eye on him. Anyway, we're going to try and do our best to stay with this leopard and send you across to Taylor and the wild dogs. Well, look at how incredible this view is of young Thamba. We positioned ourselves up on a termite mound that we were hoping he was going to walk up onto, and he did in fact do that. So he's come very, very close to us. I'd say he's probably only about 3 meters from the vehicle. And that's what's allowed Seb to give you guys such a great view. Isn't he so beautiful? I've got my camera out snapping a few pictures, and it's incredible how relaxed the leopards of the Sabi Sands can be. What's interesting is that males often appear, especially young males, can be very, very relaxed with us, both in vehicles and on foot. But then as they get older, that changes, which I find quite interesting. Hello, Daisy V. You would like to know who is Thamba's mother? Well, it is in fact Thandi, who is a leopardess who we've been following closely over the last few months. Her territory has shifted more onto Djuma, and she's given birth to a cub quite recently, about 4 or 5 months ago, and 4.5 months ago or so. So yes, her last cub that she raised to adulthood was this individual, and she's currently now raising a little girl. So he's been on his own for, I would say maybe 8-9 months, maybe a little bit longer than that. And aren't we just absolutely getting spoilt rotten here with these views? Incredible stuff. He's got a pink nose, which you can see there, which is also a useful feature when distinguishing him from other leopards. Bushman, you would like to know, why do we not collar any of the characters, namely the big cats? And it kind of, this Bushman, it would take the fun out of trying to find them, and half of the adventure is the thrill of the chase out here, not knowing what we're going to bump into and or when. So that's a major reason. It's also quite an intrusive process. I'm not saying that it's not justified in certain scenarios for researchers, for example, you know, where they're actually gaining useful information from the animals. But for us to just collar them so that we could view them with more ease, I think would be for the wrong reasons. Like I said, it's quite intrusive. The animal needs to be darted, which is a risky affair. Wild animals can often not respond well to being tranquilized. And then, of course, it does have a big collar around its neck. There's other ways of implanting kind of transmitters into their belly, somewhere like that. Sorry, let me just chat with Taxon quickly. Affirmative taxi's on a Shidulu here next to me. Have you got a visual of my car? Okay, copy that, tax. I can hear you. You're not far from us, but sadly, he's static for now. Sorry, everyone. So, yeah, Bushman, another thing is that they can be implanted, but that's even more intrusive because then you have to operate on the animal. So, I mean, there's a couple of reasons. I was thinking something kind of in between, which would be useful for us. It would almost be like having CCTV up. Not on every road and every corner, but basically just to have more kind of cameras, just like we have the dam cam here on Djuma. If we had more, like if we had one at each of the 4 dams at Djuma, not just the one, that would be quite useful. You know, it would just give us more clues and get us into the area, but not necessarily give us all the information that we need. This is so cool. I can't believe these views we're getting. Mind-boggling. Pixels, you'd like to know if Thamba can still recognize his mother? Yes, I'm 99% certain that for a very long time, possibly the rest of his life, he will be able to know who his mother is. And you know, just like it's difficult for us to, well, easy for us to kind of identify people of our own human nature, it's easy for animals to distinguish one leopard from another, far easier than it is for us. And, you know, just how difficult it is for them to distinguish one human from another, it's the same for us with the animals. So, yeah, I think he'll definitely know who she is. Who knows how and when last he may have bumped into her. I've got no idea, but it would be nice to know that. That is for certain. There's so much that happens in this reserve that we don't know about. The main reason is because the majority of people driving around here are doing it during hours when the predators are not their most active. So I think so much happens after dark that nobody knows about, not us, not any guides, no one, only the animals, which is quite nice in a way. It leaves our imagination room to wonder what may have happened or what does happen after darkness. This is too beautiful for words. A little bit of dappled light now coming down onto his coat. He's looking quite hungry. That's why he's so focused. You can see he's very, very intently scanning about, hoping to find a meal with those beautiful pale eyes. Sure. What a treat. Child of the Universe, you'd like to know if Thamba has any hunting specialties. Not that I'm aware of. I've spent a very, very little time with him, but what I can tell you is on one occasion he proved to me that he was a useless hunter. There was a young baby impala all on its own within striking distance of him, and he just didn't pounce. I'm confident that he would have been able to see it. It wasn't a good display of how effective a predator can be. But yeah, I haven't spent nearly enough time with him to know any tricks of his trade. But I'm fairly certain that he is still honing his skills. Being a youngster, he has still got a lot to learn about hunting and the ways of the wild. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm guessing that he's not going to be resting here for too long before he gets up and moving. I'm hoping it's the same with the wild dogs across with Taylor, but I'm sure all of you guys would like to head across there and get an update and see for yourself exactly what the situation is. Sure what tension, but there's something moving in the bushes just ahead of him.
I can see some wriggling. I think it could be a monitor or a tree squirrel. Just zoom out a bit, Seb. I can see the animal moving on the twigs just in front of him. In those twigs in the thicket there, you can actually see a little bit of movement now. So if we just keep this frame, that'll be perfect, because we'll be able to see whatever it is wriggling around in the bushes ahead of him. Tiny bit more out, Seb. It was just on the top of your frame there. There we go. That's perfect. Now something directly above the kind of biggest dead stump. Beyond that, there's something moving around in and amongst the twigs there. There, you can see it moving. What is it? And yes, we are ready to invite some other viewers to this exciting scene, so I'm just going to keep quiet for a second as we do that. Hello everyone, welcome to this unscheduled broadcast. As you can see, there is a leopard that is ready to pounce. I'm not too sure what it is that's rummaging around and wriggling around in the bushes just ahead of it. Basically, if you keep a very close eye on the kind of biggest dead stump directly to the left of the leopard, beyond that broken stump, there you can see something moving. There it is. You may have just got a glimpse of it. And he's a young male leopard, so highly opportunistic. He'll take whatever he can get. Maybe it's a snake, maybe it's a monitor lizard, maybe it's a squirrel moving through there. But good prospects for him to... Oh, he was about to move. He was about to make his pounce there. I think it's a squirrel. Yeah, I can see it now. It's a squirrel moving through that undergrowth. And even though it's a tiny little animal, he would be happy to snack on it and practice his hunting skills. It's right at the top of the frame now, Seb, the squirrel. Have you seen it yet, Seb? Okay. It's just over there. So I was just showing Seb, who I'm teamed up with on camera, exactly where the squirrel is. I can't believe how close the leopard is, and is still not decided to pounce just yet. Whew, exciting stuff. Now, I haven't mentioned, but I'm sure a lot of you have gathered that we are coming to you live from the Sabi Sands in South Africa. And please put all of your thoughts and comments in the question box, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. It's 5:20 p.m. here in South Africa, and it's a beautiful sunny afternoon. Guide Monkey, you would like to know how far away is he from the squirrel? I would say within 2 meters of the squirrel, but he knows full well, even though he's young, that this little squirrel is very, very quick and agile. So he's waiting to pounce at the right time. And if you blink, you will miss it. I wonder where the squirrel is now. It looks like it's coming closer towards him, judging by his movements. Well, as you can see, he's decided now that he needs to creep up a little bit further forward. And watch closely. He'll place his back foot exactly where his front foot registered, trying to make as little noise as possible. Oh, I think he's going to pounce. Any second now he could pounce. Come on, Thamba. Show us how good you are. I've got nothing against squirrels, but I just love supporting the predators. Oh, there he goes. And the squirrel's gone up the tree. Well, I mean, if you can avoid being caught by a leopard when it's that close to you, you deserve it. And I would love to try and show you the squirrel now, but it headed straight up that big tree, and I can't actually see it now. The squirrel's probably terrified. It hasn't even had time to start alarm calling, which they ordinarily would do at a young or at any leopard or any predator, really. My name's Scott. It was great to have you on this short, unscheduled broadcast. If you'd like to continue following the action, you're more than welcome to. We're still going to be out on safari for about another hour and a half, so you can just Google Safari Live, and that will probably be the easiest way to find us. Until the next action, we will see you next time. Thanks for joining.
Well, you are one lucky squirrel. And if I were you, I would also be having a little tantrum.